Cyberpunk, Jordan.
Welcome back to Fezca. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Well, we would have been broadcasting sooner if someone did not bump the transmitter and spill vodka over it. Anyway, they've been executed, and we can now share tonight's special episode of Fezca. Tonight's episode is centered around a little trip in a bar located on the far edges of the multiverse, where characters from beloved video game franchises hang out before their next title. But one character brings unfortunate news that the blue blur is dead. Good! What? I've always been a Nintendo fan.
Hello, my name is Feliks, that's Zwolf, and we were trying to film the next episode of Fezca, but we're currently dealing with, this at the moment.
He's dead. It's Dr. Ivo Robotnik to you.
Alright, calm down and let's start from the beginning. Sonic the Hedgehog is dead?
Correct. I was waiting for him to show up at Green Hill Zone this morning, and one of his friends informed me they found his body earlier in the stage.
I thought murdering Sonic is what you were supposed to do.
Trying to murder Sonic, sure, but never actually succeeding. We have a Batman and Joker thing going on.
Well, perhaps we can take the opportunity to review all the mainline titles he's been in since Sonic Adventure 2, call in a few of his friends to see if we can find some potential suspects. I think it might lead us to what we're looking for. Right, Ivo will take the case. We'll call it the death of Sonic the Hedgehog. So, to solve the death of Sonic the Hedgehog, we need to discuss every mainline Sonic title since Sonic Adventure 2. That presents a challenge because there's differing opinions on what is a mainline Sonic title. So, that means we're going to be covering Sonic Heroes, Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic 4 Episodes 1 and 2, Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Mania, and finally Sonic Forces. So we need to evaluate each of these titles and examine their role in the possible death of the Blue Blur. So let's start the interviews off with the leader of Team Dark, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Is all this noir stuff necessary?
Yes. When the choice was made to discontinue the Sega Dreamcast in 2001, it was the dawn of a new era as Sega would focus solely on making titles instead of both doing that and making failed consoles. Saturn and Dreamcast. Sonic Heroes was heralded as a triumphant entrance of the famous Blue Blur on other non-Sega consoles. With it came an enormous departure from Sonic Adventure in several aspects, like a brighter tone and focused on team-based movement. Shadow, you were featured as one of the leaders of the four teams, along with newcomer E123 Gamma and oldcomer Rouge the Bat.
Correct.
Sonic Heroes was billed as a fresh start for the series, with the covers even having a all-new Sonic thing on the front of the box. While it certainly had its moments, I don't think it was the fresh start that the series needed, with a less interesting story compared to Adventure 2 and wonky team-based movement. Now, that doesn't mean it's some affront to humanity. Far from it. I think Sonic Heroes has a lot to like. The music is utterly great, there is a lot of cool environmental design, and it overall just has a lot of good stuff to it. It just really wasn't enough to be a fresh start for the series like it was intended, and combined with the reception of your spin-off, Shadow the Hedgehog, might that be a catalyst for murdering your old rival?
How dare you?
I have no interest in murdering that hedgehog. I believe that a far more likely culprit is Silver, who starred in freaking Sonic 06. Right, wanting to move into a different direction after those two games, this title was meant to be another fresh start for the series with a new storyline, environments, redesigns of characters, and the addition of new ones such as Silver the Hedgehog. It even shows as this was meant to be a fresh start for the series with the actual title, simply being Sonic the Hedgehog. But as it has now become so infamous, Sonic the Hedgehog will be relegated to the title of Sonic 06, as it will be nowhere near the fresh start the series needed, with a variety of well-documented and talked about reasons such as story and technical performance issues such as long loading times. Silver, in that title, you tried killing Sonic multiple times due to mistaken identity.
Hey, that was in the past that doesn't even exist because it was retconned out of existence.
That's how bad the story was? Goodness. Wait, why are you here then? What is here is Sonic 06, and that was a disaster for the franchise that should have been the moment when Sega decided to freeze it and establish a newer, clear vision for the character that would lead them to acclaim in a non-Sega hardware environment. Instead, we ended up with a third fresh start 2 years later with Sonic Unleashed, which wasn't that bad. Sonic Unleashed had a brand new style with its day stages, which captured the utter speed of Sonic's 2D adventures into a 3D area more than Sonic Adventure did. There's a reason why this formula will be used in future entries in the series. It worked. But what also worked was the storyline, the characters, the environment, and overall tone. It would have been the fresh start the series needed had it not been for some issues, such as the sluggish werehog, which makes up a ton of the title, so it's kind of actually a really big issue, or the tedious metal collecting in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 versions. So while it was flawed and the third fresh start for the series, it was still a solid entry that could be built upon. Wait, where's Chip? We were supposed to interview him.
Multiversal Police, put the milkshake down, you little rat.
I just don't think he's the murderous type. No, he's a sweet bean. We can skip him. In 2010, we would see two mainline Sonic the Hedgehog entries release, with each having a different focus and resulting reception. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was a direct continuation of the 2D Sonic titles that concluded with Sonic and Knuckles back in the 1990s. That might elicit excitement about a 2D sequel to it, and was meant to be a whole trilogy of episodic releases, with marketing heavily being towards it, including a Sonic 4 themed room at Alton Towers in the UK. Yeah, does anyone remember this? Yeah, they did a whole Sonic 4 themed room, and even themed one of their coasters to Sonic Spinball. But both Sonic 4 Episode 1 and the later Episode 2 would be bad, for multiple different reasons, from a bland art direction, awful music, and none of the charm of the Genesis titles. Honestly, they could be considered a fresh start for Sonic's adventures in 2D, except for this, and this. Yeah, we're gonna pretend Sonic 4 doesn't exist, okay? Metal Sonic, you were in Sonic 4 Episode 2, and had an episode Metal 2 if you had both episodes. Didn't you want to be the main star after terrible releases like that?
Analyzing. Response data acquired. I am the better hedgehog, but after being in that, Sonic could have his worthless series that will lead to his inevitable demise. I do not need to speed up such a fate.
Anyway, Sonic Colors would be the following entry after Sonic 4 Episode 1. Looked to be an improvement of Sonic Unleashed, and then it took the aspects of the day stages in Sonic Unleashed and focused on them. But that's where the similarities between the two end, because Sonic Colors is a much different title. For one thing, it introduced the Wisps, which allowed Sonic to transform into a laser, drill, and void sucking of all life around them. I'm sorry, I got kind of carried away. I really like the announcer in this game, but anyway. That and a bunch of other Wisps that gave Sonic unique powers, which was a pretty cool gameplay hook, and they would make appearances in future Sonic entries as well. There were other differences, such as in visual design and tone, keeping it simplistic with only Sonic and Tails as our main characters, and a colorful and childish direction. It also introduced the new voice cast for Sonic, such as Roger Craig Smith and new writers of Ken Pontac and Warren Grafe from Happy Tree Friends. Sonic Colors is the fourth or so fresh start for the franchise based on what's new, and with limited exceptions, I think it's succeeded. Yeah, it's not as grand or interesting as Sonic Unleashed, but a more simplistic, colorful, and plain fun game is totally fine by me, and wouldn't be out of character for the franchise. I mean, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog exists, come on. But that wisp sucking all life around them seems, suspicious. That's true, but can it explain how it enhanced Sonic and Sonic Colors Ultimate? That'll be all. The success of Sonic Colors would continue with Sonic Generations. It featured the addition of classic Sonic that was a return to the 2D format that didn't suck like Sonic 4. It is consistent both in terms of story and tone with Sonic Colors. It felt like a true celebration of Sonic the Hedgehog with all of its callbacks and attention to detail. Sonic Generations is more of a mix of the old and the new rather than trying to reinvent the wheel like other entries, and it leaves pretty much everyone happy. That said, classic Sonic, you must have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder for being shafted for so long. I think he's saying no, or is he saying yes? The next entry after Sonic 4 Episode 2 was Sonic Lost World, which although it shares a subtitle with the Jurassic Park movie of the same name, the only similarity is that both shouldn't exist. It wasn't awful, but the head-scratching choice to move away from the successful Colors Generations formula in favor of a Super Mario Galaxy-esque idea was beyond frustrating and confusing. It carried some elements of older titles in terms of its tone, but it overall is a fresh start for the series because of all the new changes, even though they were not necessary at all, seriously. It would be different if this was a spin-off, but this is a mainline entry, so I have to be harsh like this. Seriously, I don't even have any interviews lined up for this one. I'm just utterly confused at its very existence. Therefore, exempting a detour with Sonic Boom, some of the worst-selling Sonic titles of all time, we now enter the year of 2017, which like in 2010, we saw the tale of two different hedgehogs. There's Sonic Mania, which was developed as a neat little treat to those who loved Sonic 2D outings on the Sega Genesis. It wasn't good because it was just a proper sequel to Sonic and Knuckles. It wasn't because it was just a 2D Sonic title. It wasn't just because it was developed by members of the Sonic fan community, which Sega hired. No, it was none of those things. Sonic Mania was good because it took something that worked before with the Sega Genesis titles and added new concepts and ideas that felt like a natural progression rather than trying to start all over again. Sonic Mania was naturally met with rave reviews from critics and fans alike, and for the first time in a long time, Sega had a taste of a successful and beloved Sonic title. Mighty, you return to the franchise in this title DLC, Sonic Mania Plus. Wouldn't that make you want to seek revenge for being forgotten for so long? Right, at the time your only appearance was in Knuckles Chaotix for the Sega 32X. If anything, you would probably want to seek revenge on Knuckles for abandoning you.
Hey, Marty, how you doing, man? Hey, what's with that hammer? Wait.
Ooh, that's ouch, ouch. Anyway, we're down to one last title, Sonic Forces. Despite being a sequel to Sonic Generations with its cast of old new villains and heck, even having classic Sonic return again, It's also different in terms of a darker tone and had a character creator, which admittedly was probably the most nifty addition of the game. It is a thankful steer back to the old generations format, but like a ship docking into port, it hit some rocks and spontaneously combusted. Sonic Forces has a laundry list of issues ranging from its confusing story, how it handles its darker tone, forgettable music, and everything else. To me, it was intended as a fresh start considering how different the game is in terms of gameplay and tone compared to other entries. But none of the new elements really worked to me, sans the character creator. So, I think after all those interviews and research, I could speak for both of us that we've reached a conclusion. Can we turn off the neo-noir setting now? Thanks. Anyway, we've reached a verdict. None of you are guilty of murdering Sonic the Hedgehog.
What? But there has to be one of us guilty.
That's what I thought too, but I think the real culprit here is far greater. The real culprit of the death of Sonic the Hedgehog is the ones who are responsible for the franchise. Sega. You see, hey, wait a minute, why am I floating? Hey, put me down! Zwolf? 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 Ugh, my head. Where am I?
In the presence of a god, boy.
Oh, lovely. I've angered the god of Sega. Honestly, between this and the non-mouth-moving Sonic characters, I can definitely say this is the weirdest episode of this
Silence! You make a serious charge against me. Defend yourself or be smitten.
Yes. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Sega is, in my opinion, responsible for the death of Sonic the Hedgehog, not because they want to kill the blue blur, but it's rather an indirect death. That's because of a lack of clear direction from the company on where to take the franchise since Sonic Adventure 2. From Sonic Heroes to Sonic Forces, I see one thing in common. All of the mainline Sonic titles, besides Generations and Mania, have more or less been attempted fresh starts for Sonic, resulting in a series that has wildly different gameplay, tones, and much more. Now, I don't mind trying new things and experimenting a bit. It helps to keep the franchise from being stale, but when it's done so much, it leaves a lack of consistency for this series. My opinions on these titles, or general consensus when that is unavailable, doesn't matter. All of the titles that I've discussed, yes, even the worst ones like Sonic 06, would have been fine as a starting point if Sega would just choose a direction and stick with it. Sonic Unleashed, for instance, had fantastic visuals and tone. It just needed some tweaking with the werehog and metal collecting. Sonic Colors had a much more comedic and simpler story in comparison, but it would have been fine if they tweaked the writing a bit. None of these titles had sincerely bad ways to take the franchise. They just needed a little bit of work, some more than others. But instead, it was just one direction 1 minute and another direction the next, and, well, it resulted in a disjointed and ununified franchise. Sure, there's been some titles on this list that have shared similarities, and my definition of fresh starts is debatable, but I still reach the same conclusion. Consistency is what this franchise so desperately needs.
What do you suppose I do about it?
This is not an unfixable issue. Sonic Frontiers, the next upcoming entry in the series, is looking to be another fresh start for the series. But interviews indicate that this is a start of a template that Sonic Team wants to stick with. Whatever Sonic Frontiers is in terms of its gameplay or tone or whatever, it needs to be stuck with improvements where applicable in future titles. Sure, there's going to be some folks in the community that aren't going to be happy, but Sega needs to continue on in whatever direction they think is best and just improve upon it over time. But the ball is clearly in your court, Sega, and Sonic Frontiers and future entries will signal whether you revive the blue blur from his death or bury his corpse even more.
I will accept that criticism and consider it. Back to your reality, go.
Oh, Zwolf, just cut to the end credits. You and I are taking a long vacation after this.
Thank you for watching this episode of Feliska. If you liked the video, why not consider giving it a like? Or even better, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss another transmission. Follow us on our social media, and consider supporting us on Patreon and Ko-Fi. Until we meet again, comrade.